This is the second yoga class offered by the Allegheny County Library in Sparta, North Carolina, in conjunction with the program Stretching Your Body, Stretching Your Mind. So welcome. Today is going to be about a 30-35 minute class. We're going to do basically standing poses today. Last time we did chair yoga, and I have a straight back chair here like we did last class with a pillow to put behind you to help you sit in alignment and nice and tall. So if you would like to have a chair there available, you may during the course of these next few minutes to take part in yoga by sitting, which you surely can do. So go ahead and gather what you need, a pillow if you want, a straight back chair. If you have a yoga mat, stretch one out. It's not necessary. You can stand on your floor, or perhaps a rug would be warmer. You can take your shoes and socks off if you're so inclined, but do try at the very least to take your shoes off, just so we can really connect with the ground beneath us. If you have any issues this morning or any medical problems, most of these poses I think should be fine with modifications. But if you have any serious conditions, or you're taking more than 2 or 3 prescription medicines, perhaps check with your doctor. So let's begin. We're going to start in mountain today. The basic foundation of yoga, a balanced pose. It engages the core. We focus on our alignment. And in fact, I use the word gab to kind of move us into this pose, either standing or sitting. So take a moment. Have your feet, they can be together if you feel stable. For me, I like about fist width apart. You can do hip width apart. So just kind of walk from side to side, connect with that ground, and then come back to center. Weight evenly distributed, the 4 corners of each foot, the legs, the hips. So you're not just shifting your weight with most of your weight on one leg and hip or the other. As I began to notice, I did all the time. Having a sense of being rooted from the top of the legs, all the way down the legs, into the earth, and then out to the sides. So that when the wind blows, when we're nice and rooted, we don't become uprooted. And then breathing, taking a full breath in and a long breath out, as if you were breathing in through the nose, if that's comfortable. And then as you exhale, tightening the back of the throat just a bit, as if you were fogging up a mirror. That's called the ocean breath or the Ujjayi breath. And we'll breathe throughout the practice, basically in and out through the nose. But this is a nice way to start. So we're nice and grounded, we're breathing, and we want to pay attention to our alignment, to our spine. You know, there's a tendency, let's just do it, to kind of, especially when this is January, it's cold outside, to kind of hunch and to walk, and I'll find myself in the house. I've taken my coat off. I'm not cold, but I'm still kind of hunched. So that means we're rounding the spine, we're kind of tucking the tailbone, drawing the chin down. So we want to have nice alignment. Having that tailbone, the very base of the spine, think about it also being rooted going down. Having the natural curves of the spine, and then lengthening through the crown of the head, so that the cervical spine, the neck, you're not lifting the chin and kind of crunching it or tucking it and causing too much stretch there. But just start where you are today. Just start where you are. And I use the acronym just to kind of I'm not going to belabor it as I often do. I'm going to try not to anyway. But I use the acronym GAB, grounded, aligned, breathing. Just a nice little cheat sheet way of going, am I these things? The breathing is the most important part. And we're just going to start making small movements here with breath. And if you want the first couple of breaths, you can inhale through the nose, relaxing that belly as you do so that when you breathe in, your lungs fill from the bottom up and you get a complete breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll do that ocean breath the first couple of times, tightening the back of the throat, exhaling. And as you get to the bottom of that, just drawing the navel in slightly toward the spine, as if you were zipping up a pair of pants that you had just dried in the dryer. And then relaxing that belly and breathing in again. So we'll just start. And if you start to worry, did I inhale, did I exhale? Trust me, I've been there. Don't worry about it. Just breathe. Have a sense of humor, have a sense of fun. Yoga helps us, our bodies, to be stronger, more flexible, and balanced. It also helps us mentally and emotionally, spiritually, to be more flexible, stronger, and balanced. So have a sense of humor. Try as best you can. And it's something we have to be aware of what our mind tells us. Try and be accepting of where you are in the present moment. You may have goals or intentions, I like to call them intentions, that things will get better and that this shoulder that's giving you trouble or your foot that's today you're in the chair because of, that you will have some improvement. But just start where you are. And that calms the mind. One thing that we really realize in yoga when we're kind of quiet is that our mind is going a million miles an hour. It's called a monkey mind in yoga, a monkey that's been stung by a scorpion that's going from branch to branch to branch, and that's how quickly our minds can move. We're not even aware of it during our daily activities. But here in yoga, we go, oh my gosh, I'm not even thinking about yoga. That's okay. Just kind of acknowledge what it is you're thinking, or just thinking. Maybe deepen that breath, have an Ujjayi breath. Come back to the present moment. When you've wandered off again, either back into the past or forward into the future, and you realize it, don't beat yourself up. Just go thinking and come back and just smile because you're in a very large club, let me tell you. So, find your mountain or your seated mountain right here. So whichever works for you. If you're in your seated mountain, you're grounded through the feet, but also through the hips. And we're just going to have our hands by our sides, and we're going to move with that breath. So as you inhale, bring the backs of your hands forward just a bit, and then press those hands back. Lift the heart. Nice breath in. And as you exhale, you can bring the hands forward and then draw the palms back behind you, tuck the chin. So the inhale brings the back of the hands forward, then you press those backs of the hands back. Spread the fingers apart if you want. Exhale, the hands come forward, and you press those palms back, tucking the chin. So you're just moving with breath. Inhale, softening that belly, breathing into the body. Exhaling, letting go, releasing, relaxing. Hands go back. So just let it be a nice flow, moving as if you were moving those arms through water. And just a couple more. And spread those fingers apart as you press those arms back. And then as you're ready, bringing your arms by your sides. Lovely. For a second, press through the balls of the feet, lift the toes, spread them apart, and then come back to center. We're going to do just a real gentle twist here to begin. We're going to imagine that our arms are empty sleeves, and there's a little breeze as we twist from side to side. Now you can keep your feet right where they are. You can bring them a little wider if you want, or if they were really wide to begin with, you can bring them closer. Just experiment. This is your class, your body, your breath, listening to your body. I may give suggestions, and maybe you'll take some, but maybe you'll go, well, that's not working for me. Let me try something else. It's all about listening to the body, connecting with the breath that helps to bring us in the present moment. Letting those arms float up a little higher if it feels good. You may hear a little sound or two through the neck. That's perfectly normal. And let the arms start to float down. Maybe tapping the body again. Good. And back to center. We're going to do one more little twist. So just, again, find your stance. Find your ground. Stand your ground here. And as you inhale, bring those arms out shoulder height. And then bend the elbows so that the palms face one another. Soften those knees. You can even bend them a little bit. And then come into your mountain, your cactus mountain. And we're going to twist again, slowly. More of an upper body twist this time. You can keep your face at center if you want, or you can imagine you're a movable piece of art going from side to side. And then come back to center. Let your hands rest on your shoulders, elbows out, not too high, but maybe just slightly below your shoulders. And you're going to twist slightly to the right, and then let that left arm cross over and stretch. Inhale. As you come back to center, exhale over to the left with the right arm. Inhaling back to center, over to the right, stretch that left arm. Inhaling back to center. And you're breathing. We forget sometimes. Inhale. And you can start to let your arms lift slightly, as if you were picking something wonderful and all of a sudden you've gotten all the berries, some kind of fruit off the lower limbs. Now you're having to stretch up. Keeping those knees soft. And then lowering those arms back down, going from side to side. And after your next stretch, take your time on the left side, stretching to the left, come back to center. Keep those hands on the shoulders there, and just make a few circles here with the elbows. You can kind of try and bring them in toward one another, and then press them back, and go the other way. And of course, you can be sitting in your chair, doing the same thing. Good. And then release. Bring the arms by your sides. And let's just make some circles here. We're going to move, of course, with breath. As you inhale, bring the shoulders forward just a little bit and up toward those ears. And then as you exhale, and you can use that Ujjayi breath, at least to begin with, exhale. Release those shoulders back and then soften them down. So the inhale, forward, exhale. And take a moment at the bottom of that exhalation to really relax the shoulders before that next wave of breath lifts the shoulders and the exhale releases them back and down. Good. A couple more. Last one. And come back to center. We're going to kind of walk in place here. We're going to hinge. The top of the legs is the hinge crease. If you were to lift your right heel or left heel up and put your finger right there, you would feel the leg start to meet that finger in between the hip and the leg. So that's the hip crease. And we're going to talk about that a lot in real life, yoga off the mat. Oftentimes if we see something, we round the back, we reach, we come back up and go, oh, I've hurt my back. So it takes a while to do, but we're gonna work on trying to remember to hinge from the hip crease, bend the knees, and send the hips back. Now, that can be a real challenge. Some of us have sciatica. Oftentimes that's caused by the piriformis muscle, which is a big muscle there in the buttocks, kind of like a hammock muscle. So we're going to just start where you are. So just hinge just slightly from the hip crease. So see, the spine is still in neutral, and then just bring your hands to the thighs and just walk in place. Bend one knee a little bit more, and then the other. Think about keeping the collarbone wide, and don't drop the chin. You may have to look up to see what I'm doing, but then keep that spine in neutral so that your neck is also in neutral. Walking in place, good. And then come back to center, and if you're comfortable, stay in this slightly hinged position and make circles with the knees. So you're working and getting some movement in the ankles, the knees, the hips. You're not bringing those shoulders together. You're not hunching them. You're keeping the collarbones wide. And then reverse. Go in the opposite direction. It's a smaller movement if you're sitting, but you're still getting the benefits. And then make your way back to center. Come back to mountain. And just roll those shoulders a couple more times. Good. We're going to come back to this hinged position in a few minutes, but we're going to do just a few more movements to warm up the body, which I think is it's healthy. The muscles kind of know what you're up to, that you're getting some movement. You're not all of a sudden going from start to finish. You're building up. So we're just going to start bringing our hands to our hips here and do a side stretch. So with your hands on your hips, just let that right hand slide down the right leg. It doesn't matter how far it goes. And look over your left shoulder. And then as you inhale, come up. And exhale, go the other way. Right hand on the right hip, sliding that left hand down and inhaling up. And if you want, you can look over that opposite shoulder. And that bent elbow, try to kind of press it back, hit it toward the back wall just a little bit. Good. So just a gentle side stretch. Side stretches don't normally occur in daily activities. And then come back to center. And then step your feet a little wider, and they can actually turn out a little bit. Notice where that tailbone is. We all have a tendency to either, we want that tailbone going down a neutral spine, but we kind of have a tendency, some of them, to lift the tailbone. That's what I tend to do if I'm not aware, or to tuck the tailbone under. So you want that tailbone going down. You want to be grounded through the four corners of each foot. You can, if you can lift the toes slightly. If you feel like you need a balancer, you can bring your chair and just have a hand on it. And we're going to do the same thing, a side stretch, except now we're going to bring our right hand and just bring it on our right ear. And again, keep that elbow, it's pretty much in alignment with your ear and your shoulder. You could press it back just slightly. And as you exhale, stretch over to the left. Breathe. And if you've gone too far, come on back up. And as you exhale, bring that right elbow in. Inhale. Press it back. If this wide stance is too much, go ahead, bring it back in. So the inhale, you're opening, you're breathing into the whole body, but breathing in to the chest and shoulders. And then when you're ready, come back to center. And don't just go immediately over to the other side. That's where we're headed. But take a moment, come back to mountain just to notice. Move a little bit. And if you feel a difference, you may or you may not. And come back to whatever foot placement feels best to you. Left fingertips just lightly back behind the ear. And as you exhale, over to the right, taking a breath or two. And then as you exhale, that elbow comes in, inhale, press it back. Kind of like the hokey pokey. Just a couple more. Change your foot placement. Of course, you can do this in the chair. And then make your way back to center. Good. Come back to mountain. And roll those shoulders. Super. Good. We've done twists and we've done side stretches. Those are 4 of the 6 positions of the spine, in addition to the neutral. So the last 2 positions of the spine is flex and extend. And you can do that sitting in a chair, you can do it on hands and knees, and you can do it standing. So we'll do it in standing and also the possibility of the chair. So I'm going to come to the side again. I'm going to hinge just a little bit here, send the hips back just a little bit, and bring the hands to the top of the thighs. Now the spine is still in neutral here. Lily Folan, who is a long time yoga instructor, she was on PBS years ago. I think she calls this the inchworm, and I think you'll understand in a minute. So as you inhale, you're going to lift that tailbone just a little bit, lift the heart just slightly, and lift the chin. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone in, tuck the chin just slightly, the back rounds just a bit. And your hands are not gripping your legs, they're just lightly resting on your thighs. So the inhale is when you lift that tailbone, lift the heart, you're breathing into the front body. And then as you exhale, you tuck the tailbone under, tuck the chin. You can think about tightening the abdominal muscles there as you exhale. This is a version of cat and dog, actually. As you exhale and you tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, that's your cat, like your Halloween cat. And as you inhale, you're lifting the tailbone, opening the heart, lifting the chin. That's your dog. So then make your way back to center. Take your time. Come back to mountain. And roll those shoulders. Good. We're going to do a balance pose today. We're going to do crane. And crane, I'll give you a quick demonstration and then we'll get to it. You ground whichever standing leg you want. Kind of shift your weight to it. I'm going to shift my weight to this left leg. And then as you inhale, you can just lift your right heel off the mat. Keep the spine long. Press that left foot into the mat. Or if it feels comfortable today, you can lift the foot. And you just kind of have your elbows tucked in and your fingertips draping down. And then as you exhale, come back to center and the other side. So if you would like to have just a little assist here, you certainly can. If you would like to sit during crane, you can also do that. And it is a great, you're not working on the balance so much, but you are really working on the quads. We did that in the chair yoga class last week. I felt it. So if you want, use a chair to hold on. Let's ground that left leg and kind of lift that right heel off the mat. And then if it feels comfortable, with or without a chair assist, you can lift that right leg. I'm wobbling a little bit, but that's okay. You're really working the calf muscles and exhale lower because I almost came down anyway. And you're also working and strengthening the ankles. So then really ground, take a moment, that right leg. And as you inhale, lift the left. And exhale down. Inhale, lifting, staying as long as you want. Wobbling's a part of the pose. So is coming down before you fall down. Once you're down, take a moment, shift the weight, the ground, sense of rootedness on that standing leg, and when you're ready, lift the other foot, or just lift the heel. Where are you today? Not where do you want to be, where might you be in a week? Just be here, be present. Make sure you're still breathing. And make your way back to center. Good. And let's roll the shoulders. And then come back to that slight hinge, send the hips back. And just like we did before, kind of walk in place here. You've been using the knees a little bit. Just kind of lubricate them. And then from here, if it's comfortable, stay here. Keep that hinge. And we're going to move into a version of chair, or one of my favorite students ever said, can I call this bar stool? I said, you certainly may. You're going to stay like that, really grounding through the four corners of the foot with a little more emphasis on the heels. Then you're going to bring the arms out shoulder height or a little bit higher. Now there's a tendency to kind of reach and pitch forward. Think about drawing the top of the arms into the sockets. And you're breathing here. You can sit and do the same thing, hinge forward. This is a great pose here. And then when you're ready, or maybe you've already been ready, press through the soles of the feet. Bring the arms up. Separate the hands a little wider. Think about opening the heart. If this is too much for the shoulders, you can come in to the cactus pose, or whatever works for you. And then exhale. Bring hands to heart. Beautiful. We're going to do one more pose, and then we're going to come into our relaxation before ending this class and moving on to yoga off the mat today. We're just going to roll the shoulders a few more times. Then we're going to do one at a time. Inhaling, bringing them up, exhaling, releasing back and down, as if you're moving through water. And then we're just going to come up on the ball of the right foot, bring it down, ball of the left foot. And think about really pressing through that standing foot, like you're growing. I feel taller, and I'm not that tall. Lengthening. There you go. And last one. And then come back to mountain. And take a moment to get gabbed, grounded, aligned, breathing, keeping soft knees, feeling that sense of connection to the earth, lengthening through the crown of the head as if you were a beautiful flower or tree and you can feel the warmth of the sun, relaxing the face, softening the shoulders, and just taking a couple of breaths, bringing hands to heart if you would like. And then coming into a place where you can move into relaxation. So chair is a lovely place to do it. If you have a mat and would like to stretch out, by all means do that. Stretch, I will give a quick demonstration. Just coming down on your mat, coming to your back. The chair is in my way. Actually, there's a great pose with the chair. Stretching out or bending the knees, bringing the arms a comfortable distance from the body. If you do have a chair handy and you have your mat, and you were planning on laying on your mat, you can actually use your chair, and it's quite lovely to bring your hips to the chair and then roll over. Rest your calves on that seat and bring the arms out. And it's very lovely. It's a nice place to relax. If you have lower back issues, it can be very nice and soothing. And then to get up, you'll press up and come up. But I'm going to do, I'll give you my good side here. I'm going to do relaxation sitting in the chair today. So wherever you are, sitting, stretched out on a mat, or on the mat using the chair, take a moment, move in any way that makes you feel more at ease. Whatever part of your body is making contact with the support, be it the chair, be it the mat, be it the legs on the seat of the chair. Really feel that support. And gradually allow the body to begin to release into that support. If you're in a chair, perhaps now's the time to keep that spine long, but perhaps use the pillow to provide a little support. And take a couple of these full breaths. I sometimes call them self breaths. Slow, even, long, full breaths in, and long releasing breaths out. Keeping the belly soft as you inhale. Feeling as you do that, feeling the belly lift, perhaps the ribs expand, the collarbones lift slightly. And then the exhale, you can tighten the back of the throat a couple of times. And as you exhale and get to the bottom of that exhalation, gently drawing the navel back toward the spine just for a moment. You're not holding the breath, just a natural pause. And then relaxing the belly. And taking another nice, slow, even, long, full breath in, and then the long, releasing breaths out. Relaxing the face, softening the skin around the eyes so that the eyes just rest, nestled in their sockets. Releasing the hinge of the jaw, allowing the teeth to part slightly and the tongue to flow. And just allowing your breath to resume its natural rhythm of breath, perhaps just with a little more awareness of keeping the body relaxed, keeping the belly relaxed to allow that breath to enter more freely. Allowing the mind to quiet. And then as you're ready, you can begin to make small movement stretches wherever you are. And when you're ready, you're certainly welcome to stay wherever you are for a bit longer. If you're stretched out on your back on the mat, bend your knees eventually and roll over to whichever side and press up. And let's bring our hands to our heart. Grateful for this day, grateful for this time together. And as I like to say, may we know our blessings and bow in gratitude. Namaste.